Yes, people, what is happening? Welcome back to Lily White Lane. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing okay. And today, I'm going to be bringing you your latest and greatest transfer updates regarding Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. But before we get into the video, make sure if you're new here to smash that subscribe button, hit that like button as hard as you possibly can, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. On the content side of things, you can expect to see all kinds of Tottenham Hotspur content, whether it be match previews, match reviews, player ratings, predicted lineups, Tottenham updates, transfer updates, debriefs and day after shows after every single Tottenham Hotspur game and fixture, the whole shebang. So make sure to smash that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to your latest and greatest transfer updates. Your transfer update show where we bring to you your latest rumours and reports regarding Tottenham Hotspur Football Club and players that may be coming to Tottenham this summer and players that may be leaving Tottenham Hotspur this summer to go to another club. So without further ado, let's get right into our first article. So, our first article today does come from the Telegraph. Mike McGrath, who wrote this, has to say, and he states that Sergio Aguero is willing to forego Champions League football next season to stay in the Premier League and prove himself away from Manchester City. Chelsea and Tottenham are the two clubs the Argentine would consider. Chelsea and Tottenham are the two clubs the Argentine would consider. Absolutely mental. Sergio Aguero could be coming to Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. I've heard a lot of people saying they don't want Sergio Aguero, and I'm thinking to myself, why? I can't come up with one reason why I wouldn't want Sergio Aguero at Tottenham Hotspur. He's got experience, he's got a winning mentality, and whether he be a first team starter or sitting on that bench, he will bring experience, as I say. He'll bring that winning mentality to the dressing room. He's a perfect player, very, very experienced, as I say. He's seen it all, done it all in the Premier League, as I say. Probably had one of the most iconic moments in the history of football, if not the most iconic moment in the history of football. Definitely the most iconic moment in the history of the Premier League, you know. No one will forget when Manchester United were top of the league, and as they City needed to win the game, they were 2-0 down to QPR. They clawed it back to 2, and in the final minute, Sergio Aguero scores a goal to snatch the title away from Manchester United. Absolute scenes back in 2012, as I say. He's been a fantastic player all his career, in my opinion. As I say, age is just a number, in my opinion. And, you know, some players, as they get older, they can't do as much. They don't have as much pace. They're not as good as a player as they were before. And, you know, no one when they get older is as good as a player as they were back in their prime. Of course not. But you look at the likes of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, 40 years of age, yet he's a first-team starter for AC Milan and second top scorer in the Italian league, as I say, in Serie A. He's incredible, and he's 40. You look at Sergio Aguero, he's what, 33, 34? I think if he came to Tottenham Hotspur, as I say, he could definitely fit into that first team, if not sit on the bench. I think he'd be fantastic. He knows how to put the ball into the back of the net. He'd be a fantastic striking partnership with Kane, and maybe you can have Son behind him, or Son and Aguero with Kane behind them, as I say, providing the crosses and balls in to Son and Aguero. And it'd be absolutely fantastic to see him at Tottenham Hotspur. He's got so much experience, as I say. He'd bring a winning mentality to the dressing room. A bit like Joe Hart, honestly, but better, because the guy's still got it. He's absolutely incredible. The only downside I can actually think of is he's so injury prone. He's so injury prone. He gets injured quite a lot as his careers went on. He's getting injured nearly every single season for Manchester City. So that's the only worry. But if he did get injured, you know, he'd be fantastic as a backup striker. If not, and if he did get injured, you know, Kane's definitely in there. So it's not like we probably miss him if we brought him into the club and he did get an injury. But in my opinion, it's definitely a signing we should make. But the only downside alongside that, as I say, well, the second downside, in my opinion, is the wages and the transfer budget City would want. I think 20 to 30 million, we could pay that. Any more than that, I don't think we'll go in there to buy Aguero. But Aguero said right now, you know, to the Telegraph that he does want to come to Tottenham Hotspur. He's considering Tottenham Hotspur and Chelsea. So the deal definitely could happen, especially if the player actually wants to move to the club, whether they get Champions League football or not. Because I thought maybe if we get Champions League football, it'd be more likely that we can get him for a low price, or more likely that we can bring in top players. And, you know, some of our top players right now at the club wouldn't leave and basically cut off their contracts. But as I say, you know, even if we didn't get Champions League football, Aguero would still want to come to Tottenham Hotspur. Very similar to Chelsea. Even if Chelsea don't get Champions League football, he would still want to go to Chelsea, as he still wants to prove himself in the Premier League. And it's very, very interesting, I say, because you look at the Premier League, such a fast-paced league, definitely the best league in the world. But in my opinion, What's best for Aguero? I'd love him at Tottenham Hotspur, but I think the best league for him would be the Italian league, the Serie A. Maybe go to a club such as Juventus or Napoli or Roma. You know, a club in Serie A, because I think that league, it's very tactical, very slow paced as well. I think it's a lot better than the Premier League. When the Premier League is getting injured week in and week out, as I say, and he's only just come back from injury at Manchester City. So in my opinion, I'd love Aguero, but the only issue is his wages, and he's very injury prone, and how much Manchester City would ask for the player, as I say. It'd be very interesting now. I can't wait to see how this one goes on, if it does go on, as I say. And yeah, that's all I have to really state on that one. And that takes us on to the next transfer update. Atletico Madrid are admirers of Harry Winks and monitoring his situation at Tottenham. This one coming out from Sky Sports, as I say. Very intriguing and interesting. Harry Winks could be going to Atletico Madrid. Yes, without a doubt, right? I'd see no need to keep him at the club. He's still quite a young player, as I say. He's still got potential, but he hasn't done enough at Tottenham Hotspur, in my opinion. When we first saw him, we thought, yes, this guy's going to be the next Moussa Dembele. This guy's going to be fantastic. And he bossed Messi, in that Barcelona game, as many Tottenham Hotspur fans will remember. He absolutely bossed Messi. He had a fantastic game, a cracking game, and everyone was like, you know, although he lost that game, Harry Winks is the one who's going to stand out. He's going to be the next superstar, and it hasn't really worked out. In my opinion, he's too slow on the ball. He's not got any creativity at all. He don't know his best position, whether he's a defensive midfielder or an attacking midfielder. In my opinion, Atletico Madrid want him, let him go. Then we can bring in money, as I say, and especially in a market where you have to sell players to buy players, use that money to invest in another midfielder such as Marcel Sabitzer with a bit of extra cash, as I say. And the fee currently being thrown around is 20 million, right? 20 million for Harry Winks. I think that'd be very interesting. Take it, in my opinion. You know, Levy, knowing Daniel Levy and the board, they'd probably ask for 25 million, try and push it a bit better. That'd be absolutely fantastic. But I'd say 20 million, it'd be brilliant. It'd be absolutely brilliant. Harry Winks goes over to Atletico Madrid. He's not a player that any of us Tottenham Hotspur fans hold a vendetta against. I don't believe there's any bad blood. As I say, he's a homegrown boy, and if he was to go to Atletico Madrid, then I wish him the best of luck, because he's come here, he hasn't done the greatest, but he's shown that he's a good young prospect. He's shown that he respects the club, as I say, and yeah, all the best if he does go, as I say. And that moves us on to our next article, as I say, our next piece of news, our next rumour. Villarreal are in talks to sign Juan Foyth. Villarreal do want Juan Foyth. I think it'd be really good. He's a prospect, Juan Foyth, and I haven't seen that much of him. I'll be 100% honest. I haven't seen that much of Juan Foyth, but I think, I think he's one of those players that we bought him in and we thought, this guy's going to be the next Lady King. This guy's going to be incredible. And we've loaned him out to Villarreal, and he's done all right from what I've seen. As I say, I can't really comment on it too much because I don't really watch La Liga, if I'm being 100% honest. I watch a few highlights here and there, bits and bobs from my lone watch videos, as I say. But in my opinion, Villarreal, if they're in talks to sign Juan Foyth, fantastic, absolutely fantastic, as I say. Use that money to invest in other players. Hopefully he doesn't turn out to be one of the best centre-halves in the world, and then we see what we regret doing. But in my opinion, accept the deal. As I say, Villarreal can have him. 10 to 15 million, maybe even 5 million, they can have him, in my opinion. Happy days. And that takes us on to our last piece of news. As I say, Tottenham Hotspur are also interested in signing Diego Carlos, as Jose Mourinho is monitoring his situation. Jose Mourinho does like him. Very interesting. Carlos, I'll be 100% honest, I don't know much about the player, but from what I've seen on him, on highlights and everything, he seems to be a really good player. Very pacey, as I say, an absolute rock. He seems to be really good. So we'll have to see how that one goes on. As I say, we've had loads to talk about on this transfer update, whether it be Sergio Aguero, Harry Winks, Juan Foyth or Diego Carlos. As I say, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens over the next few months in the summer transfer window. In my opinion, I still think a centre-half and a creative midfielder should be our priority. But if we can get those two, definitely start looking at the likes of Sergio Aguero. But as I say, this has been the video, guys. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. And as always, come on, you Lily Whites.